Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about me. Because you know what? You need to know who I am and why you should listen to me. And it's always nice to know a little bit about history. So, today, we'll be talking about that. Thanks for coming back. So I grew up here in Lewiston. I went to North Idaho College up in Coeur d'Alene, got my associate's degree in journalism. When I was doing that degree, I got an internship at Kootenai Electric Cooperative and kind of fell in love with marketing. That had me in every internship I had throughout college. I was doing marketing because of that. It turned into kind of a passion of mine. I found that I was pretty darn good at it. So it was awesome. I loved it. When I went to get my bachelor's degree, I moved down to Medford, Oregon, and I got my bachelor's degree in outdoor adventure leadership down there. Basically, scuba diving, rock climbing, anything of that nature. It is my passion. I absolutely love it. So it's a lot of fun and, just definitely my thing. Um, I came back to Idaho and, did a lot of things. I've done sales, I've done marketing, I've done a little bit of everything. And so I kind of felt like getting into real estate was just a logical next step for me. I actually had a friend approach me and say, "Have you ever thought about doing this?" And I was like, "No, absolutely not." And, it took me about 2 years after that in order to actually decide that this is what I wanted. At that point, I had one daughter and I owned my own house cleaning business. I was a partner and we worked together really well. And I loved that chapter in my life. I met a lot of really cool people, got to see a lot of really cool houses and, stayed busy. Learned to run my own business, keep track of everything you need for, taxes and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it was a lot and I enjoyed it very much. And so when I decided when I was pregnant with my second little one that I needed more, I've always had big goals, not only big goals for myself, but I've always wanted to help people achieve their goals. I've always felt like I was meant for something a little bit bigger than, owning a house cleaning business. So when I got pregnant and decided, hey, I'm going to go through this career change and got my license at 8 months pregnant and got my Idaho license when I was, I think it was 4 or 5 months postpartum. Hardest thing ever. Do not suggest trying to get licensed for real estate when you're pregnant. It is definitely a little bit difficult. And adding pregnancy on top of that is a challenge, but it was a challenge that was worth it to me. I've loved everything that I've done, but I'm excited to be where I am now. I chose real estate because when I was pregnant with my first child, my husband and I decided that I was going to be the mom who, or the mom who was like the one who's responsible for the kids while anything goes wrong with them or when anything goes wrong with them. And so, when the kids get sick and stuff like that, it's kind of my responsibility to go take care of them. And I needed something that was still flexible like that, but something that had the possibility of earning based on my worthiness as opposed to an hourly wage. And so real estate is definitely something that's just that. I work my butt off for my clients. I do everything I can to make sure my clients are satisfied. I am definitely a full service real estate agent. But it is also something where if an emergency comes up, I can go and I can handle that. It's flexible, which is really nice for me. I can work any 8 hours I want. No, I'm just kidding. But it is a 24-hour job. And I kind of love that. During the day, I can go take care of what I need to take care of. But on the weekends, I'm definitely going to be working as well. So, it works for me. It makes me happy and it makes me feel like I'm not only helping myself, but I'm helping people achieve their goals, whether that's, buying their first home. I mean, the smile on somebody's face when they find the house that is theirs, it is magic. It makes me so happy. Or finally selling the house that they need to sell, any either of those things. It's something that is so rewarding to me, helping people achieve their goals no matter what goals those are. And so real estate is awesome because there's so much variety to it. I don't get bored, which is a big issue for me, but that's okay. It keeps things fresh, and I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly growing, and I'm surrounded by the most amazing people ever, whether I'm talking about my clients who all of my clients I've learned from, and I have helped teach them something new. And it's been fantastic. And all my colleagues here are just amazing people, very inspirational, whether it's their investing savvy life or, whether they're agents who just are passionate about helping people or the civic duty. It's amazing the people that I'm surrounded by. And it's something that it makes me happy. And what's more important in life than feeling happy and feeling content. And this job, no matter how difficult, no matter what's going on, this job is something that it makes me feel fulfilled, and I absolutely love it. Other things you should know about me just in general, if you're going to work with me or you're going to watch, any of my videos. I hold myself to a very high standard. I try to make sure that my clients know that I'm somebody that they can come to and they can ask me questions. They might not always like my answers because I am honest to a fault, which is something that I actually pride myself on. I want to make sure that people know that I'm very high integrity, and I want to ensure that everybody around me is going to get answers that maybe aren't always easy to swallow, but they're going to be something that needs to be heard. And so you'd never have to question me. If I'm telling you something, it's how I feel. If I come across new information, I'm going to call you and say, hey, either I made a mistake or, whatever. Like, I am going to let you know if anything new has come up, new information, if I've made a mistake, which we're human, right? That kind of stuff happens. Mistakes, anything like that, like, you're going to know about it immediately. I love people, and I love having good conversations, and I love making sure that people view me as a safe place. That's always been my goal, always has been. And, people approach me and say, I don't know why I feel like I can share this with you, but that is the thing that makes me so happy, is when people are like, I just feel comfortable. Like, you're never going to judge me. You're going to try to see my point of view, all that. That is the most important thing to me, is making sure my clients are comfortable with me in every way possible. I try to, be high integrity, caring. I try to go above and beyond, where I can, of course. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to my story. Thank you so much for coming by today. This one was a little bit more difficult for me to go or to talk about because, it's about me. It's not about a subject that is very objective. This is something that, sharing myself, sharing who I am, and I'm excited to help people on their journey, and let's go out and meet those goals. Anyway, have a great rest of your day, and thanks for coming by.